Hi, my name's Camille, and I'm playing a game that I created in last week's video. It's a catching game, and the main character is my cute little puppy here. My puppy is catching tacos and earning points as he catches tacos as they fall from the sky. You'll also see there's that black spider there, so if my puppy touches the spider, it's game over. So today I'm going to show you how to add a level. Ooh, game over. I'm going to show you how to add a level to the game to make it a little more challenging. And if you've already created a catching game with me from last week's video, you can just code along right with me today to add a level to your game. And if you haven't done that yet, you can go ahead and stop this video and watch last week's video to create a catching game that you can add to today, all right? So in my new game, I will move to a new level when I get to a certain score, all right? And that means I've eaten enough tacos. So I broke down today's coding into a few different steps. Hang on, I'm going to, there. I broke down today's coding into a few steps, all right? And the first step doesn't involve coding at all. It's to decide what's gonna happen when I reach a certain score. So that's what the next level will be. The second step is to select a new backdrop for the second level. It's always fun when you change scenes in a game, right? And then the third thing is I have to decide what changes are going to happen when I get to the next level. And many times games become more challenging, right? As you move to new levels. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it a little trickier to play my game when I get to level 2, right? So let's go ahead and start with step 1. All right. So as I said, the first step in our game is to kind of brainstorm and think about what we want to happen. It doesn't require any coding at all. And it's to think about what you want to change in that next level. So I'm going to start kind of simple. I'm going to change the backdrop, and I'm going to change the food that the puppy is trying to catch. So my puppy is going to stop chasing tacos and look for something sweet, looking for dessert. So I think we're going to choose donuts. And then the third thing that's going to happen is that spider in my game, the spider is going to come down a little faster. So it's going to be a little more difficult to avoid the spider, okay? So those are the three simple things that I'm going to change in this game, and you can think about how you want to change your game, and then at the end we'll talk about maybe some other things that you could try experimenting with in a new level of your game, all right? So let's move on to step 2. I said the first thing we're going to do is to create a new backdrop for the new level. So I'm going to go down here to the corner of the screen and choose backdrops, and I'm going to select one from the ones that are in Scratch, and I'm going to choose this one here. It's called Night City, right? So the puppy's going to still stay in the city, but it's going to be nighttime now, okay? So it's that simple. We can go here over to, we click on the backdrops here and then go over to the backdrop tab. I'm going to go ahead and change the names of my backdrops just to be a little more organized. I'm going to call this Night, instead of Night City, I'm going to call it Level 2. And then it looks like I had already changed the name of this one from Urban to Level 1. All right, so now let's get busy coding the changes. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is code the changes in our games. This is the fun stuff, and the part where we can really try and experiment with the code and see if we can make fun things happen. The first thing we have to do is code the thing that has to happen to make the game stop doing level 1 things and start doing level 2 things, all right? So we're gonna start with the backdrop, and I'm going to go to the code tab. So the backdrop can kind of act like a sprite in a way. It can receive code, and it can change how it behaves, just like a sprite can. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the Events tab, and when the green flag is clicked, we want to make sure that our game always starts in level 1. So we're going to go to Looks and switch backdrop to, change it from level 2 to level 1, all right? So the next thing that has to happen is to code the game to change to level 2 when we get to a certain score. So I'm going to go to Variables, right? That's where we kept track of score. And I'm going to show you something. I changed my name to score. I'm going to show you, if you right click, you can rename your variable. So I'm going to change it to game score. So if you want to change your variable name, I think mine was taco score when I did the original game. And so now my puppy's gonna earn points when it eats more than just tacos. So I change it to game score. I'm going to go to the control tab and I'm going to grab this command, wait until. So this is the important block that triggers the the level 2 play. I'm going to wait until, back to variables, game score we need, and then we need an operator. We've used this command before. Game score is greater than, I'm gonna say 10. Well, you know what? In my game, it's going to be 10, but I'm gonna put 5 in here just so that we can test things a little bit more quickly, all right? So once we've coded that the game needs to wait until game score is greater than 5, we have to tell it what to do next. And we are going to use a new command for us, and it's going to be an event called broadcast. And the broadcast command lets us tell the game, other sprites in the game, what to do when a certain thing happens. So it sends messages, and I don't mean like speech bubble messages, I mean instructions, right? Some of those things happen silently. You don't see what's happening, but it is the clue to other sprites to start doing different things. So we are going to create a new message, and the message is going to be level 1 completed. All right, so this is a great way to control the timing of things in a game, right? So we had to wait until something happened and then broadcast this message, all right? And so the message has to be received by sprites. So the first thing we'll do is we will code the backdrop to receive the message that level 1 is completed, right? And then to change to level 2 backdrop. So when backdrop, we don't want that one. We want when backdrop receives broadcast message level 1 completed. We want to go to looks and we want it to switch to backdrop 2. All right, so let's go ahead and test that. All right, so when we get to 5 tacos, it should change, right? 4 or to 6, I mean, it has to be greater than 5. So there we go. All right, that worked. So what other sprites need to receive that message? What about the taco? All right, we don't want the taco to show once level 2 begins, right? We're going to switch to a donut. So we have to receive the message. When I receive the message that level 1 is completed, we'll go to looks, and we've used this command before, hide, all right? So let's try it now. Let's test. You can see why it's good to change your game score to a lower number for advancing, and then you can change it to a higher level once you're out of this testing phase, right? So number 6, and no more taco, all right? All right, so now that we have coded the taco to hide when we go to level 2, and we know over here that when the green flag is clicked, it will show again when the game starts. Let's go ahead and select our new food to catch. I'm gonna go to food here. I'm going to choose a donut, all right? And there's the donut. We already know here, this is a good place to change the size, all right? And I like that size of our sprite. And so now what do we want the donut to do? We want the donut to hide right when the green flag is clicked. We don't want it to show up at the beginning of the game. So when the green flag is clicked, we'll go to looks and hide this sprite. And then when the donut receives the broadcast message, all right, it's time for level 2 to start, level 1 is completed, we will show the donut. All right, let's test that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I see a donut. And I no longer see the taco. So what do we need to code next? We want that donut to do the same things that the taco did, right? So we learned about a cool feature of Scratch last time, the backpack. So I'm going to go to the taco sprites. I'm going to click on the backpack down here. And then we can go ahead and copy. When it turns blue, we know it's copying. Copy the code for the taco to the backpack, and then we can bring that code right into our donuts. All right, so let's think about what we just did. We copied this code that says when the green flag is clicked, show. That's not what we want, right? So we can do this. When I receive level 1 completed, show. Do we want game score to be set to 0? Nope. So let's get rid of that. Let's go ahead. We can get rid of all these things, right? We can move this right here. So when I receive level 1 is completed, show, and then go ahead and go to the random position X and Y position 180. Let's test it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there we go. Let's make sure we're adding points, and we are. Onto the spider now. All right, let's click on the spider code. And remember I said I want the spider to come down faster. So if you remember in my game last week, we decided to slow the spider down by adding a wait time, right? So now we want to make that wait time shorter so that the spider moves more quickly. And I'm going to show you how to use variables to change the speed in the game, right? Just change that wait time. So remember, variables allow you to store and change numbers in a game. So in this case, we are going to create a variable that represents the wait time of the spider. So we are going to go to make a variable and call it spider wait time. All right, you'll see it shows up every time you create a variable. It shows up on the screen. You can go ahead and uncheck that box, and now we just still have the game score on the screen. All right, so we are going to set that variable at the beginning of the game. I'm going to change it. In our game, in our current game, you can see right here, the spider waits 0.1 seconds. So I'm going to set that to 0.5 today. Let's see if I type it in correctly. 0.5, just because I want you to be able to see the speed change a little bit better. So I'm going to make it, the spider's going to be pretty slow at the beginning of my game. So we're going to get rid of game score here, set to 0. We don't want to reset the game score, right? And we're going to do it here. Let's set spider wait time to 0.5. All right, and then we'll change here. We're not going to wait by 0.1, we're going to wait by spider wait time. Okay, so now we want to start level 2 things with the spider. So we need to receive level 1 completed. All right, and we want to change this variable. We want to change spider wait time, right? So we've set it to 0.5. Now we are going to change spider wait time by, has to be a negative number to decrease that wait time. We're going to decrease it by negative. Oops, first we need to get an operator because we're going to multiply it by half. So let's put that in there. And then we need to put spider wait time because that's one of the things that we will multiply. Right, we're going to multiply it by half. Negative 0.5 will decrease the speed by, or increase the speed by half, right? Decrease the weight, increase the speed. All right, so let's go ahead and try that. All right, now you can see how slow our spider is coming down now. Get to 6. Can you see it's coming a little faster? All right, so that's the level 2 change. All right, I'm going to stop the game and I'm going to show you what happens if we make it negative 0.95. So that spider, we really decreased that wait time. Okay, so let's start again. Spider's still coming down at spider wait time, 0.5 seconds per 10 pixel drop. Now, whoa, look how fast he's coming. All right, so you can go ahead and you can play around with those numbers, and you could even create a level 3 by doing the things that we did today, and gradually with your levels increase the speed of the spider. Oh, but look what's happening. Look what's happening on our game over screen. What did we forget to do? Let's go to the donut. And what we want to happen is when backdrop switches to game over, we want to hide that donut too. So let's go ahead and choose hide. All right, let's test it one more time to make sure our game is doing all the things we want it to do. Slow spider catching tacos. Fast spider catching donuts. And what happens? I like how with the night screen, it becomes even more challenging to see the spider. So, and then game over screen. So I'm satisfied. All right, so how else could you change your game when you do those level changes? Maybe you could bring in new falling objects. You could bring in a second thing to avoid. We know how to code that, right? So you could make 2 objects falling to avoid in your game. All right, I look forward to seeing what you create. Thanks for coding with me.